How cult leaders turn love into control. If I wanted to control someone, I would not begin with fear. I would begin with warmth. I would listen better than their friends. I would make them feel seen in a world that keeps ignoring them. Because people rarely walk into a trap when it looks like a prison. They walk in when it looks like home. That is the first secret behind many cult leaders. They do not always start as monsters. At the beginning, they often look like healers, teachers, protectors, spiritual guides, revolutionaries, or misunderstood visionaries. They offer meaning to people who feel lost. They offer certainty to people who are tired of confusion. They offer belonging to people who have spent years feeling invisible. And that is what makes the trap so dangerous. It does not feel like control at first. It feels like love. But the question is not only why people follow cult leaders. The deeper question is this: how does someone turn affection into obedience? How does kindness become surveillance? How does a person who once made you feel safe slowly become the reason you are afraid to leave? To understand that, we need to stop imagining cult followers as foolish. That mistake is comforting, but it is also lazy. It allows people to say, "That would never happen to me." Sure, because every manipulation victim begins the story fully aware they are being manipulated. The truth is harder. Intelligent people can be controlled. Kind people can be exploited. Lonely people are not the only ones at risk. Anyone who needs meaning, approval, identity, forgiveness, family, purpose, status, healing, or direction can become vulnerable when the wrong person learns how to provide it. Cult leaders do not simply command belief. They build a world where disbelief feels like betrayal. The process usually begins with selection. A controlling leader does not need every person. They need the right person at the right moment. Someone grieving, someone isolated, someone recovering from failure, someone who feels misunderstood, someone who recently lost faith in old systems, someone desperate to become better, someone who wants to belong to something larger than ordinary life. The leader presents himself as the answer to a private pain. Not always directly. Sometimes, he only has to speak in a way that feels strangely personal. He talks about broken families, corrupt societies, fake friendships, spiritual emptiness, weakness, discipline, destiny, betrayal, or the need for a chosen group. The message lands because it does not sound random. It sounds like he has been reading the parts of your life you never explained. That is the first hook. Recognition. A person feels understood before they realize they are being studied. Once the target feels seen, the leader creates emotional contrast. Outside the group, life is cold. Inside the group, people greet you warmly. Outside, your problems are ignored. Inside, every struggle has meaning. Outside, you are ordinary. Inside, you might be chosen. This is not accidental. Belonging is one of the strongest forms of psychological leverage. When a group becomes the place where someone finally feels important, leaving no longer feels like changing a belief. It feels like losing a family. That is why the early stage is often filled with attention. People smile at you. They remember your name. They praise your potential. They ask about your wounds. They make your presence feel valuable. For someone starving emotionally, this can feel like rescue. But love bombing is not love. It is an investment. The attention is not given freely. It is placed like a hook under the skin. Later, when obedience is demanded, the person remembers the warmth and thinks, "They cared for me when no one else did." That memory becomes a chain. The leader then begins to redefine reality. This part is subtle. He does not immediately tell people to abandon everything they believe. That would create resistance. Instead, he introduces small doubts. Your family does not understand you. Your old friends are keeping you weak. The outside world is poisoned. Critics are jealous. Experts are corrupt. Anyone who questions the group is afraid of the truth. Notice the design. He does not only attack outside opinions, he attacks the viewer's ability to trust outside opinions. That distinction matters. A person can disagree with one criticism, but when they are trained to distrust every source beyond the group, the leader becomes the gatekeeper of reality. Information is no longer judged by evidence. It is judged by loyalty. From that point, truth becomes whatever protects the group. The leader does not need to answer every accusation. He only needs followers to believe that accusation itself is proof of persecution. Very convenient. If nobody criticizes him, he is righteous. If people criticize him, that also proves he is righteous. A closed belief system has no exit door. At first, the demands are small. Attend one more meeting. Read one more message. Share one private fear. Donate a little. Volunteer a few hours. Cut back on one friendship. Keep one secret. Defend the leader online. Ignore one red flag. Each step seems manageable. No single act feels like surrender. But control is rarely built in one dramatic moment. It is assembled through small agreements. A person says yes to something minor. Then the next request arrives, only slightly bigger. After enough steps, turning back becomes psychologically painful because it would mean admitting that earlier choices were mistakes. This is called commitment pressure. People want their actions to make sense. Once they have invested time, money, reputation, privacy, relationships, or identity into a group, they begin defending the group, not only because of loyalty, but because leaving would expose the cost. The cult leader understands this. He makes the follower participate in their own captivity, not with chains, with choices that become harder to reverse. Then comes confession. In many controlling groups, confession is framed as healing. Tell us your sins. Reveal your weakness. Admit your shame. Share the story you hide from everyone else. At first, this feels intimate. It creates relief. The follower believes the group is a safe place for truth, but private information can become a weapon. The leader now knows what makes the person feel guilty. He knows who they fear losing. He knows their insecurities. He knows the wound that makes them easy to guide. Later, if the follower questions him, that same confession can be used against them. You are resisting because of your ego. You are doubting because you are still broken. You are afraid because you have not surrendered. You are listening to the weak version of yourself. This is how control becomes internal. The follower starts policing their own thoughts before anyone else has to. Doubt is no longer a warning signal. It becomes a personal failure. That is one of the most dangerous turns in the entire process. Healthy doubt protects people. Cult systems make doubt feel immoral. Once that happens, the follower does not need constant punishment. The fear lives inside them. They begin asking, "What is wrong with me for questioning this?" instead of asking, "What is wrong with this group for demanding silence?" A skilled cult leader also controls identity. He gives followers a new name, role, mission, rank, purpose, or spiritual status. This can feel empowering. A person who once felt invisible now feels chosen. A person who hated their past now receives a new self. The leader becomes the one who saw their destiny. That creates a powerful debt. If someone believes the leader gave them a new life, then disobeying him feels like destroying the person they have become. The old identity is painted as weak, blind, corrupted, or asleep. The new identity belongs to the group. This is not just branding. It is psychological ownership. When someone's sense of self becomes tied to a leader, leaving no longer feels like escape. It feels like death. That is why outsiders often ask the wrong question. They ask, why didn't they just walk away? But for the follower, walking away may mean losing their friends, purpose, reputation, beliefs, future, and the version of themselves they were promised. The door may be open physically. Psychologically, it can feel locked. The next step is isolation, not always sudden. A leader rarely says, abandon everyone. He begins by making outside relationships feel dangerous. Your parents are negative. Your friends are distractions. Your partner does not support your growth. People who question us are spiritually weak. The world wants to pull you back. Over time, the follower spends more time inside the group and less time outside it. Their calendar changes. Their conversations change. Their language changes. Even their emotional reflexes begin to shift. When someone outside expresses concern, the follower hears it through the leader's filter. Concern becomes attack. Love becomes control. A warning becomes persecution. The cult has succeeded when the people trying to help are interpreted as enemies. That is how the leader protects the system. He turns rescue into threat. Then comes exhaustion. A tired mind is easier to control. Some groups use long meetings, constant tasks, sleep disruption, fasting, repetitive rituals, public pressure, emotional confession, endless study, or unpredictable demands. The purpose is not always obvious. Exhaustion weakens independent judgment. When someone is physically drained and emotionally overwhelmed, they look for simple answers. The leader provides them. Do this. Believe that. Avoid those people. Trust me. The follower feels relief because complexity disappears. But the relief is not freedom. It is dependence. Control often grows stronger when people are too tired to analyze it. The leader also uses alternating affection and fear. One day, he praises a follower as loyal, gifted, special, or chosen. Another day, he shames them for weakness, selfishness, doubt, or disobedience. This emotional unpredictability creates anxiety. The follower becomes obsessed with regaining approval. That is the same mechanism often found in abusive relationships. The victim does not only fear punishment, they chase the return of warmth. When love becomes unpredictable, people work harder to earn it. A cult leader understands this better than most people realize. Stable kindness creates trust. Unstable kindness creates addiction. The follower begins to ask, how do I get back to the good version of him? That question keeps them trapped. Not because the leader is always cruel, because he is cruel and kind in a pattern that keeps people emotionally off balance. Then the leader creates enemies. Every controlling system needs an outside threat. It may be the government, the media, former members, rival groups, unbelievers, families, experts, institutions, or invisible forces. The enemy serves a purpose. Fear keeps the group united. When followers believe danger is everywhere, the leader becomes protection. When the outside world looks hostile, the inside world feels safer, even if the real danger is inside. This is how fear and love merge. The leader says, I am the only one who cares enough to protect you. The group says, we are the only people who truly understand. The follower thinks, if I leave, I will be alone. That fear can become more powerful than logic. It is not enough for the leader to be loved. He must become necessary. That is the difference between influence and control. Influence can be questioned. Control punishes the desire to question. A healthy leader can survive disagreement. A cult leader treats disagreement like contamination. That is why criticism inside the group becomes dangerous. The follower is not simply wrong. They are disloyal. They are infected. They are selfish. They are attacking the mission. Once disagreement becomes a moral crime, the group stops thinking. It starts obeying. The leader may also use public humiliation. Someone is corrected in front of others. A doubter is shamed. A former member is mocked. A private mistake becomes a public lesson. The message is clear without being spoken. This could happen to you. Humiliation teaches everyone else what silence is worth. People learn to smile while afraid. They repeat approved phrases. They defend things they privately question. They watch others get punished and adjust their own behavior. This is how a room full of people can become quiet, even when many of them are uncomfortable. Each person thinks they are alone in their doubt. The leader benefits from that illusion. Control survives when honest people are kept separate from each other. Sometimes the final stage is total surrender. Money, sexual boundaries, family decisions, living arrangements, work, marriage, medical choices, personal identity. The leader's authority expands until nothing feels private. By then, the follower may no longer experience commands as commands. They call it guidance. They call it discipline. They call it sacrifice. They call it love. That is the frightening part. The language of devotion can hide the structure of domination. The same word that once meant care now means compliance. Love becomes proof that you will obey. Faith becomes proof that you will stop asking questions. Loyalty becomes proof that you will accept harm and call it growth. This is why cult leaders are so dangerous. They do not only take control of behavior, they colonize meaning. They change what words mean inside the follower's mind. Freedom becomes selfishness. Privacy becomes secrecy. Family becomes weakness. Doubt becomes betrayal. Obedience becomes love. Once language is controlled, reality follows. But not everyone stays trapped. Some people escape because one small contradiction refuses to disappear. A leader preaches sacrifice but lives with privilege. He talks about love but destroys families. He demands honesty but hides his own past. He condemns greed but takes money. He claims spiritual power but fears simple questions. At first, the follower explains it away. Then another contradiction appears. A story does not match. A punishment feels excessive. A former member's warning suddenly sounds familiar. The follower notices that the group's version of love always moves in one direction, toward the leader. That moment can be terrifying, because seeing the pattern means facing everything it cost. The lost years, the damaged relationships, the money given, the secrets shared, the identity built around a lie. Leaving requires more than courage. It requires the ability to survive the collapse of a world. This is why outsiders need to be careful. Mocking victims only proves the cult's message that outsiders are cruel. Shame can push people back into the group. A person escaping control does not need humiliation. They need reality, patience, safety, and a path back to themselves. The real lesson is not that cult followers are weak. The lesson is that human needs can be weaponized. Love can be used as bait. Belonging can become leverage. Purpose can be turned into obedience. Healing can become access to someone's deepest wounds. Certainty can shut down judgment. Fear can make a cage feel like shelter. And the most dangerous manipulator is not always the one who threatens you first. Sometimes it is the one who makes you feel understood before they make you feel owned. That is why the warning signs matter. When someone demands your trust faster than they earn it, slow down. When a group teaches you to fear every outside voice, pay attention. When love becomes conditional on silence, something is wrong. When questions are treated as attacks, control is already growing. When a leader needs enemies to explain every criticism, the story is protecting him, not the truth. When belonging requires you to abandon your judgment, you are not being saved. You are being trained. The most powerful traps rarely look like traps in the beginning. They look like answers. They look like family. They look like destiny. They look like someone finally understands you. That is why people fall in. Not because they are stupid, because the door was decorated with the exact thing they needed. The story ends here, but the pattern does not. This is the Control Files.